If we were to drain the world's oceans today, we might find that the abyss is not a graveyard, but a sanctuary. We have mapped the distant craters of Mars with more precision than the churning, lightless plains that exist right beneath our feet. For millennia, we have stared at the horizon, waiting for invaders from the stars, while ignoring the shadows rising from the deep. The story of Atlantis is often dismissed as a fable, a moralistic tale of pride and the inevitable fall into the salty brine. But what if the cataclysm was not an ending, but a strategic migration into a realm where humanity could never follow them? Imagine a civilization that learned to thrive under pressures that would flatten our most advanced titanium hull into a discarded soda can. They are not gone. They have simply moved beyond our reach, hiding in the one place we are still too afraid to explore. Our sonar pings off their borders, yet we interpret the echoes as nothing more than geological noise or the songs of whales. We are the surface dwellers, oblivious tenants of a liquid skyscraper, unaware of the landlords living in the basement's deepest, darkest rooms. The question is no longer whether they existed, but why they have gone to such extreme lengths to remain completely hidden from us. Consider the hubris of a species that calls itself master, while occupying only a fraction of the planet's habitable volume. We live on the crust, a thin and fragile shell that shudders and cracks at the slightest whim of the tectonic giants below. Our history is a collection of fragments, curated by survivors of floods and fires who barely understood the world they lost. To the Atlanteans, the surface was likely seen as a volatile, sun-scorched wasteland, prone to ice ages and meteor strikes. They chose the stability of the deep, a place where the temperature never changes and the passage of time feels eternal. We are like ants crawling on a floating log, unaware of the complex ecosystem thriving in the dark waters just inches beneath. Every year, we discover new species in the Hadal zone that defy every biological rule we thought were absolute and unbreakable. If nature can evolve life to survive in volcanic vents, why couldn't a sentient civilization adapt to the same crushing pressure? We assume they would look like us, but millions of years in the dark would have sculpted them into something quite different. They are the silent observers of our development, watching our ships pass above them like slow-moving clouds in a foreign sky. Chapter 1. The Known Facts. Plato described Atlantis as a series of concentric rings, a marvel of engineering lost in a single day. Geologists point to the Rishat structure in Mauritania, whose dimensions and shape match the philosopher's descriptions with haunting, mathematical precision. The Younger Dryas period saw cataclysmic sea level rises that could have easily swallowed a coastal empire whole in a geological heartbeat. We find traces of advanced masonry and astronomical alignments in cultures that supposedly had no contact with each other across the globe. These breadcrumbs lead us to believe that a mother civilization once existed, providing the blueprint for the pyramids and the ziggurats. But here's where it gets even stranger, and much more terrifying for those who believe we are alone on this planet. In 1997, the NOAA recorded the bloop, an ultra-low-frequency sound that was detected by sensors thousands of miles apart in the Pacific. It was too loud to be a whale and too organic to be a submarine, originating from a region near the fictional Relier. Navy pilots have reported unidentified submerged objects, or USOs, moving at speeds that defy the laws of fluid dynamics and physics. These crafts transition from air to water without a splash, suggesting a technology that manipulates gravity or the medium of space-time itself. If a civilization lived in the deep, they would not use fire or electricity as we know it, but perhaps harnessed geothermal energy. They would be masters of bioluminescence and seismic communication, turning the entire ocean into a giant, interconnected neural network of information. We have found deep-sea cables severed with surgical precision, far beyond the capabilities of any known marine animal or tectonic event. The dark side of this theory suggests they are not just hiding, they are actively defending their territory from our prying eyes. The Bermuda Triangle and other devil's seas might be nothing more than restricted airspace above an empire that demands total privacy. Every missing plane and vanished vessel could be a casualty of a silent war we don't even know we are fighting. What if the UAPs we see in the sky aren't coming from other planets, but are merely returning to their underwater hangars? They would have had 10,000 years of peace to advance their technology while we were busy inventing the wheel. We are like a primitive tribe on an island, watching the contrails of jets and assuming they are the paths of gods. The truth is, the most advanced species on Earth might not be the one that lives in the light of day. But here's where it gets even stranger. What if they aren't even in our physical ocean, but the space between? Chapter 3. The radical theory suggests that Atlantis discovered the secrets of higher dimensions, or localized space-time warping for their city. They didn't sink. They shifted their entire reality a few degrees out of phase with our own, becoming ghosts in the machine. Some suggest that liquid breathing is not just a sci-fi trope, but a biological reality they mastered to survive the pressure. They may have edited their own genetic code, reawakening vestigial gills and insulating their organs with advanced synthetic biopolymers for the deep. Not this would make them a sister species, a parallel branch of humanity that chose the dark path of the deep sea. Perhaps Atlantis is not a city of stone and gold, but a massive biological computer processing the data of the Earth. They could be managing the ocean's currents and temperatures to prevent the very climate collapse that we are currently causing. If this is true, then we are not the protagonists of this planet's story. We are merely the noisy, destructive neighbors. The radical truth might be that they are not hiding from us. They are waiting for us to finally grow up. We often ask if we are alone in the universe, staring at the cold, indifferent stars with a sense of cosmic longing. But the most terrifying answer to the Fermi paradox isn't that the stars are empty, but that the neighbors are home. They are home, and they have been watching us struggle, kill, and pollute for thousands of years without ever saying a word. What kind of advanced morality allows a civilization to witness the suffering of their kin and remain entirely, perfectly silent? Perhaps we are an experiment to them, a chaotic variable in an otherwise perfectly ordered and silent planetary system. In the grand theater of the cosmos, what if humanity is just the opening act that has overstayed its welcome on stage? We fear the unknown in the depths because it reminds us of how little we actually control about our own tiny lives. Existence is a fragile thread, and we are dangling it over an abyss that has been inhabited long before we learned fire. If Atlantis never disappeared, then they aren't lost. We are the ones who are wandering in the dark, searching for home. The next time you look at the ocean, remember that something is looking back, and it doesn't need the sun to see. Are they our protectors, our jailers, or simply our successors waiting for the surface to finally become quiet enough for them? We spend our lives building towers to the heavens, while the true power of the world lies in the crushing weight. Perhaps the most unsettling thought of all is that they aren't hiding from us because they fear us, but because we bore them. To a civilization that has mastered the gravity of the abyss, our rockets must look like children's toys tossed into a pond. We are the ephemeral inhabitants of the light, while they are the eternal masters of the dark, waiting for the cycle. If you could choose to see the truth, would you look into the deep, or would you stay on the shore? The answer is down there, in the silence, in the pressure, in the dark, where the heart of the world beats. They are not a myth, not a legend, and certainly not a memory of a time long since past and forgotten. They are the present, they are the future, and they are the one thing we can never truly hope to understand. Sleep well tonight, knowing that the planet you call yours is only on loan from those who live below. What if the rising sea levels aren't just nature, but a deliberate expansion of their territory into our concrete world? They are reclaiming the surface, 1 inch at a time, while we argue about the politics of the air. The transition will be slow, silent, and entirely unstoppable by any weapon we have ever dared to create. Beneath the ice, in the trenches, and inside the mountain ranges of the deep, the engines are already starting. We are not the masters of our fate, just the temporary occupants of a world that is mostly water. Who told you that Atlantis was a myth? And why were they so desperate for you to believe it? The truth is often deeper than the ocean, and much colder than the void between the distant, dying stars. If they decided to come to the surface tomorrow, would you even know how to begin the conversation? The pressure is building, the silence is ending, and the inhabitants of the abyss are finally coming home. When the tide finally turns for the last time, will you be ready to meet your true neighbors? Is it possible that our gods were just their explorers, sent to guide us before we became too dangerous? The artifacts we find in the sand are not remnants of the past, but signals from the present. We are looking for aliens in the sky because we are too terrified to look into the mirror. They are the mirror, and they show us a version of humanity that didn't need the sun. The era of surface dominance is coming to an end, and the deep is ready to rise. What if the end of the world is just the beginning of theirs, a return to order? We have always been the guests here, and the hosts are finally tired of the noise. Listen to the waves tonight. They are not just water hitting the shore, but a warning. The abyss does not just stare back. It moves, it plans, and it eventually, inevitably, claims. Are you certain you are the one watching this video, or are they watching you through it?